Hi, this is ASDP ufologist Jody Brown from Arizona, and you are watching Alien Strand Podcast with host Donald Ledesma.
AlienStrand.com, the official website.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Ledesma, and welcome to today's show. So, it's been a while since we've had UAP Weekly, so this is going to be UAP Weekly number 8 with Mr. Terry Linch, right? And he just came back from, he was on reconnaissance mission for Alien Strand Disclosure Project and Oregon Ufology and Research. So he was out there doing some work for some disclosure. So he just got back here a few hours ago, and he was able to be on the show today with me. And we're going to be talking about a lot of good stuff that's happened through this week and his adventures out there, right? So stick around so you guys can hear the whole story of what's going on. So if you guys are new to Alien Strand, welcome to Alien Strand Podcast, and welcome to Ufology. Welcome on YouTube. Welcome on X. Welcome on Tumblr, Twitter. We're on right now 8 channels of Facebook right now, groups, right? So we're just all over the place, man. We're just spreading out like no tomorrow, like a wildfire, right? Because that's what Alien Strand Disclosure Project is, and Alien Strand Podcast. We're out there to give you as much information as possible of what's going out there in the world of ufology, supernatural, Bigfoot, everything that there is to know about the unknown, right? Because that's what we're about. So, again, I hope you guys are enjoying today. I know it's kind of gloomy outside here in South Texas. We finally got some rain. It's about during time, right? So, and it's beautiful, nice and cold outside. We love it. I got my jacket on because it's kind of cold up here upstairs, right? We keep it kind of cold. So, but it's all right. I like it. If you guys are haven't joined Alien Strand Podcast or Alien Strand Extras on Patreon, please go check this out. It's on Patreon. It's an app, so download the app. You can even find it if you don't like apps. You just do it on your computer. Just go to computer and just look for Patreon, right? And then search Alien Strand Podcast. This will come up. It's called Alien Strand Extras. So what this is another podcast where I just throw a lot of more information out there as possible, and it's for and it's not for everybody. This is for people that have paid subscriptions. So I do different stories and different areas of ufology, Bigfoot, and just different stories, right? Different things out there. So if you guys can, please support us. $5 a month. It's a low price, and you get a lot of perks that comes with this. All right. So we just like to thank the folks that have joined in already. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. It's growing actually little by little. It's like a little trickle effect. But you know what? People like the content that's on there, and not just that, but the goodies, right? This last podcast that I had on Alien Strand Extras, it was called the Pulsar Project. Now, the good thing about this one is that it was based on some kind of like a manifesto, right, of a person that dealt with extraterrestrials from the 1950s to the 1990s, right? And then he had to go into hiding, and he gave his information to these people, and they put it into a book. And believe me, it's fully detailed. And I talked about this on this last release of Alien Strand Extras, and these are for paid subscribers. If you want to check out this podcast, that it's about 45 minutes long, but it's a great one. I hope you check it out. Now, if you join Alien Strand Extras, you get merch, man. There's going to have merch on there. There's like extra, if you want to pay like a little extra bucks for 3 months, you'll get a shirt or you'll get a mug, however you want to do it. There's little categories on there, which one you want. And there's a regular $5 a month where you get anything like that. But I do give away nice merch that it's coming up. So you can see the shirts there on the left. We're just starting to grow. And this is for saying thank you. Thank you guys for being on Alien Strand Extras. All right. So like I said, if you did catch it, our past podcast with Miss Nancy Timms. I'm sorry, I keep saying Times, but it's Nancy Timms. She was a great guest on our last podcast. Mr. Terry Linch introduced me to her, threw her my way, and we talked, and then she's just chiming in on all the shows, right? And she did a great job on this podcast, explaining her extraterrestrial contact, because she was a contactee, right? And we couldn't have done that podcast, of course, without her, because she just explained everything very well, very, very well. So if you haven't seen our documentary, The Middle, go check it out. Still $2.99 on Alien on Amazon Prime, right? We kept it a real low price. And it's free on Tubi TV and TCL. All right, go check it out there. Give us a nice thumbs up. Keep it flowing, man, because we want people from other countries to watch it. And if you've watched it once, hey, keep on watching it 5-6 times. Just let it run, man. So that way people in other countries can actually, it'll start passing it on to them, as people start watching this film. We really did a lot of hard work on that. Mr. Terry Lynch found some geoglyphs on top of a mountain, 8,000 feet above sea level. And we were able to record that and document everything on that film. Check it out. You have to. So Middle 2, it's already done. I'm finishing up the tail end of it, and you guys will see this on video real soon. You've already started seeing the new trailer that I made for it. Hope you guys enjoy that new trailer. And Mr. Ryan Keaton's on there. He's actually on tonight, watching in the background. He's actually going to be on this film. He's going to be on the first film. So this is going to be a 3-part series, about 40-45 minutes long each series of this film. All right. So I hope you guys enjoy this as it comes on. I wanted to bring this out today because me and Terry Lynch haven't really been able to on show. I've been just doing show after show, right? And we always talk about extraterrestrials, the crafts that we're seeing. I'm going to show that tonight. I'm going to show a couple of videos tonight. I'm going to show some photos tonight, and we're going to talk about those. We're gonna bring them out to you guys. And so, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get Mr. Terry Lynch on right now. So that would be I don't want him to fall asleep on me in the background while I'm still flapping away. So let's just go ahead and get him on the show. So here we go. There he is.
Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm over here in the middle, just waiting to get started and chomping at the bit for the show tonight.
Right on. So I've been kind of bragging about you past couple of podcasts, saying that you were going to go out there and start filming. So I know you already begun this long process. It's not just one thing you shoot in a day. This is something that happens maybe days to weeks at a time. So kind of let us know what happened to you or what you are doing.
Okay, well, we went out to you remember this area from our first movie. We went out to Hole in the Ground. This in particular location, you can see all the way into the Crook County area where a lot of cattle mutilations have taken place. And I was in the East Fort Rock area where a bunch of other cattle mutilations had taken place.
Right.
And while we were out there, me and my team, Oregon Ufology Research, we had a few different encounters with craft while we were out there. There's a specific area that it's a kind of a old rock structure that the hunters use to block wind and things like that.
Right.
And we went ahead, we camped in the middle of that, and we went ahead and set up like my P1000. We were using night vision. We're I've still got there's a learning curve to some of this equipment. So um, while I was out there, I was trying to get things kind of set up. Meanwhile, my counterpart Jonathan Mitchell, uh, he uh, he was using it was a high power blue laser when we were finding the craft that didn't have any kind of aviation lights on them.
Right.
He wasn't shining directly at the craft, by the way. He was either out front of it, or he was behind it, below it, or above it. But we won't shine anything into a cockpit or anything like that.
Right. Right.
So what had happened was this in particular area was a flight pattern for a lot of aircraft, and you could clearly tell what they were. So no lasers in that time. You
Right.
could see the aviation lights on these craft. What ended up happening uh, okay, we're right on the mouth of this giant crater, hole in the ground, Oregon, and this crater's a mile across to the other side from any point you're at. It's just a perfect bowl out in the
Right.
middle of the desert there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful location out there, actually.
Yeah, we were kind of on the area that we were at. We could see the whole backside of the Newberry volcano, which is where Paulina Peak is. We could see all of Paulina Peak in the backside of it, um, and we were able to see clear all the way into Crook County, where we'll be going in springtime. What happened is it got this really cold outside. I'll get to that in a minute. Um, when we were out here, we saw an orange spear way off in the distance, which would be out in the whole area where the cattle mutilations take place,
Right.
and it was really low in comparison to the other aircraft that was out. Jonathan put a laser out. It was moving in a direction. He put a laser out and he put it out in front of it, and the craft stopped.
Oh, wow.
And then it started to move away from the laser, and then he put it on the other side. The craft stopped again, and it started to move away from it on that side. He put it underneath, and then the craft started getting altitude.
Right.
Um, so meanwhile, this thing seems to start being curious, and it's reacting to every time he puts the laser out. So it starts coming towards us at this point, and we're talking about oh well, we're talking about 50, 60 miles away from us when he starts this endeavor, and
Right.
this thing starts moving towards. You can, by the way, you can see a really long way. This is the whole flat area part of eastern Oregon. Is
Hmm.
where we're at, and we're up at, I think we're about 4,000 feet. Um, was our altitude at hole in the ground. So anyway, this craft starts coming towards us. Um, Little funny note to this is there were people camping on the far side, and every time they saw our flashlight and laser, that flashes with their flashlights,
Oh, wow.
saying, we see you, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so what ends up happening is as soon as we start making contact with this thing and it starts reacting to the laser, they shut their lights out. I think they were pretty scared
Oh, they turned off all their
because,
lights.
yeah, they turned off all their lights when they saw this thing coming.
Oh, wow. So
And
they thought you guys were messing with them at first with the laser pointer and thing like that, right?
right, right.
Wow.
So what ends up happening is this thing, okay, where we were at, again, it's a mile across this
Right.
hole.
Right. I remember that.
Um, yeah, it's a big place. It's a
It
great big
is.
place out there.
It looks like a
Anyway,
crater. Looks like a
yeah,
crater.
that's exactly what it is. It's a great big crater in the earth. It's kind of like that one that's down in Arizona where the meteor hit.
Mm-hmm. That's
Anyway,
true.
this it's just like that. Okay, but it's in Oregon, and what it actually is it's a large sinkhole that was there was volcanic action happening underneath it, and there was kind of a water buildup, and what happened was the water and the volcanic activity took place, and the whole thing just fell in and collapsed.
Right. Well, yeah.
And that's
Yep.
basically, it's a giant sinkhole, is what it is.
Wow.
Um,
So after these campers,
that's what the geologist did.
so after
What's
these
that?
campers, after the campers, they turned all their lights off. So what happened next on the as far as the?
Oh yeah, that okay. So now the craft is coming towards us, and it just happens to be directly above these guys that were camping. Um,
Oh wow.
we had not spoke with these people. We don't even know who they were. We just
Oh,
know
wow.
that they were camping over there.
Yeah. Yep.
And so we're putting the light in between as this thing's moving towards us. Jonathan's pretty much like a remote control with this
Right.
laser with him. He can make them go up. He can make them go down. He can make them stop. What he's doing is, these things, they didn't want anything to do with the laser.
Right.
It was like they were afraid to have the laser touch them.
Mm-hmm.
And what ends up happening is this craft starts getting closer and closer and closer, and now it's directly across from us, a hole in the ground. Now we're exactly a mile away from this thing, land wise. Above now, it's up there, kind of a ways up there. All of a sudden, it starts giving all these flashes, like it's got almost like it's an airplane or an aircraft type thing.
Wow.
However, just after it goes over the campers, it goes completely black, dark, and disappears.
Oh wow.
Okay,
Wow.
so now
Yeah.
everybody's going, "Oh wow!" Okay, we're all just kind of in awe with it. Anyway, so I like, okay, where did this thing go? I'm searching. I'm trying to get my camera and everything. I'm trying to get a tripod ready. I'm trying to get things going, and again, this is with the curve right now.
Right.
I'm trying to get to where I can film this thing. We pretty much kind of have a verification that this isn't just a regular craft anymore. So for sure. So now I'm looking around, and I looked up to where it was the backside of our camp. And I looked up, and this thing's just bright as bright gets in the sky.
Right
And
on.
it's just west of Fort Rock, the town of Fort Rock. It was probably directly over an area here we call Horse Camp. It's kind of a retreat type place. You can rent a house or camp out at Horse Camp. And so people go horseback riding and things, like hunters that use the spot.
Right.
Anyway, so it's directly above that, and it starts shining just real big and bright, just as bright gets, like a white bright instead of the yellow fire it was when it started.
Mm-hmm.
And it started kind of changing colors on us a little bit after that. And so I run back over to I now I've got my P1000 in hand, and I'm in tow with a tripod, because I want to try and get this and not have it move all over the place when I'm trying to film it. Which one of the videos I had, look, it was just kind of all over the place. I'm trying to get myself to where I
Right.
can see this thing, and I had my auto setting on the
Focus.
P1000.
Yep.
Yeah, it does focus. It goes in and out. It doesn't quite capture what I'm trying to do, and I'm videoing at this point. I need to learn. It's quite a bit different than a P500.
Yep.
On the P1000, I forget that I can focus right out off the front end of the camera. I have a
Mm-hmm.
focus that I can manually focus.
Yeah. Focus ring.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I forgot that the camera even had that. So I kept going in, recording, with it, and I
Right.
kept pulling back, and I come back to finally, I just went ahead and stopped at where it was just a real finite, almost a dot.
Right.
But you could tell that there was a nucleus in this. And when I was zooming in, it was changing colors rapidly. This
Wow.
craft was changing colors rapidly to all kinds of different colors. And it was I would say the out of focus was kind of like a big hexagon is what I was getting. And
Yeah.
it had multicolors.
Yeah, yeah,
I've seen that before with other people
I do.
reported craft.
Like Ryan's we've done analysis on it, and a couple of his have that kind of hexagon like you were talking about, or octagon kind of shape. And then
Uh-huh.
I believe his, and also just recently, Mr. Robert Bow here in East Texas, his actual video that he just got this. So and he just, and I already finished with the movie, so I wasn't able to get it on there. But when you zoom in on it, it kind of gives you that. But here, theirs is a little bit closer, and you can kind of break past that octagon kind of looking shape. You know what I mean? That gives from a
Hmm.
distance. So it kind
Well,
of breaks away from that.
it also looked like when it was doing that, now I do have that on video. I do have
Right.
all that on video.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Um, when I zoomed in on it and it did this octagon hexagon, um, it looked like there was things moving around on the inside, like rapidly moving around on the inside of this,
Yeah.
and it kept changing colors. It kept changing colors. Well, uh, here's the part I said I'd get back to. It was 28 degrees outside, and I mean, I had full Carhartt jacket underneath that. I had a poncho. I had two hoodies going, so I keep and plus I had a beanie on, and that was keeping my upper body pretty warm. If you
Right.
look real close, my face is really, really red today.
It's red. I see that. I see that.
Okay, it's here, I'll take this off so you get a better view.
Yeah, let me get
That's from being out. This is from being out in 28-degree weather. I
wow.
mean, it's really, really cold.
It can be brutal. Yeah.
And yeah. Well, anyway, we're videoing, and the last thing you hear me say on the video is, "We need to get back to the campfire. My feet are so cold they're burning."
Wow.
Okay, and I was wearing heavy socks. I was wearing good shoes, um, but my hands and feet felt like they were burning. My face, I didn't see that till this morning when I got home.
Wow.
Um, it was quite interesting on that part. Now, right after we got back to the fire, I'm trying to get my gear kind of put away a little bit because everything at the in this area that we're all set up in, at this point, everything's completely covered in ice from the like a dew,
Yeah.
and every like my backpack was solid white, my carrying case for my camera was solid white. I was carrying a 20 gauge shotgun. It was solid white. The pistol that I had on my hip, uh, big 357 mag, messing around.
A mag. That's right.
The holster was solid white with ice crystals all over it.
Wow.
My clothes were solid white, and now everything I'm wearing, by the way, is this color green.
Wow.
Okay,
Yeah.
so everything had ice crystals all over it. My head was solid white from being out there. Um, when we got back, so we sit down, we put the gear away so the cold's not affecting it, and put everything back in cases and whatnot. And we sat down at the fire. We put our feet up next to it so we get our feet warmed up. And we
Right.
also had one of those dual heater buddies, a big one.
Yeah.
And we're both sitting there. We're trying to get ourselves warmed up. We're getting to where we're warmed up, and we're talking about what we had just seen. Well, all of a sudden, right over the top of Paulina Peak itself, we get this solid blue sphere, and it's coming straight at us. It's coming straight at us, and okay, I'm going to remind you, we've already got all the gear put away, and we're not messing with any more of our gear. As a matter of fact, we're not even getting out of our chairs because we're so cold.
Wow.
And so we're sitting there, we're watching this thing, and we thought, well, maybe there'll be some aviation lights on that. Maybe that's some kind of airplane. Well,
Right.
it gets closer and closer, and as it gets closer, it happens to be the exact same color as the laser that Jonathan Mitchell was using. It's identical to the color of the laser,
Oh wow.
and so we actually we kind of believe that craft um, possibly was the craft we were seeing earlier, but it had changed colors, and maybe it was trying to show us something. Maybe I'm not
Right.
exactly sure what was going on there, but as it went directly over the top of our camp area, um, we we were just kind of in awe watching this because there was not a single aviation light on this. The entire craft itself was exactly the same color as this blue laser
Wow.
that he was using. Keep in
So
mind, this laser that he has. I asked him. I said, "How strong is that?" And he's sitting there and he points it at. It was like a little flag. We put U.S. flags up at the edges of our campsite,
right.
and there's a wood dowel that's on it. And he points it at the wood dowel, and all of a sudden you start seeing smoke appear off of this wood dowel. That's how strong this laser is.
Oh wow.
You could light a campfire with it. There's
Nice.
all kinds of stuff you could do with this
Wow.
laser.
It's kind of scary, kind of dangerous too. You just got to know really how to use it. Um,
Absolutely.
now, okay, so I mean, that was an amazing adventure apparently that you guys had out there, and I hope you got most of it on film, which is great. We're gonna go ahead and break for a real quick commercial, but when we
Okay.
come back, we'll go ahead and start getting into the pictures and the videos of that we have for tonight. But that
All
was
right.
I mean, that was an amazing adventure that y'all had out there with Oregon Ufology and Research. Thank you, Jonathan Mitchell, and who else went with you out there, by the way?
His son's name is Mason Mitchell.
Okay.
Um, he's pretty much just as much part of Oregon ufology research as anybody. He is really good at logistics for us. He goes out and he'll set up things for us. He'll make sure that we've got our gear. If you remember when we were up on making the movie The Middle,
Yep.
we actually we made it all the way down to the guides, and then he kept running back and forth getting gear for us,
Yep.
back to the vehicle and back like a little goat. So he's just full of energy, and he's a strong young man, and he does a good job when he's out there with
Yes,
us.
he is. Yes, he's a good kid. I love him. And so and like I said, he was on the first film, and I'm glad he was there. We got to talk a little bit, but you'll be seeing him on more future films. So let's go ahead and go break this real quick commercial, and we'll come right back here in
Okay.
about 30 seconds.
Power. That power. That
Guys, there's my commercial for my company. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I do a lot of video work, of course, small films, independent. I'm independent, so everything that we do, we work hard for it, and we don't we're not in the multi-million-dollar industry yet. So we'll be getting that out pretty soon. Like I said, we have more videos coming out. We're gonna have the film coming out pretty soon by Let's Productions, and the middle part two. Don't forget to watch that. So anyhow, let's get back to what we're going to talk about here tonight. So we had this photo that I just posted today on Alien Strand Disclosure Project there on the Facebook group, and apparently this gentleman caught this photo of an extraterrestrial, right? And it's in black and white, but you can pretty much see. Uh, Something in the back of the woods, right? So we're kind of looking at woods here, and it looks like an extraterrestrial, like he's turning his head's cocked to the right. You can see the arms. You can see the eyeball, the huge eye. It almost looks like an insect. You know what I mean? But you could tell it's large though, but it does have a shape of a torso with arms and a neck and the head there. So, I mean, what do you think about this, Terry?
Well, the picture itself, with the night vision camera that I have, um, it has three settings. One of them is infrared. The other one is night vision, which throws out kind of a greenish color when you're looking through that one. And then it's
Right,
got a kind of a black and white setting that allows you to see this pretty much this what we're seeing right here. So
right,
what I'm saying is this guy obviously has a night vision camera, probably very similar to my Luna. Um, Now the being itself, it looks like he's midstream in a walking, you know,
yeah,
like
right,
he realizes that this person can see him.
right,
Almost, you can see that he's in stride right here, and yeah, he does. He looks like he's got like a large insectoid type head, or
right.
almost like a mantis. But
And the light is actually from the light. I don't know if they're using flashlights or what, but it actually is reflecting off of the eye. So
yeah,
I don't know if they're. It kind of looks like maybe two flashlights. By the way, it looks maybe one's pointing to the left, and then another one hit the right. Because if it was a wide angle flashlight, you'd be see more of the brush out there, whatever we're seeing. But all we're
oh,
seeing is two small areas of lighting there.
uh, the with my Luna, when I go out into I'm on 5 acres. I live on a 5 acre place. When I go out into my yard, sometimes I'll have herds of deer out in my yard, and a
Right,
lot of them will lay down along the fence line. I can see everything that's moving. We've got rabbits, we've got deer, we got sometimes we've got elk. Anyway, when I'm using the Luna, their eyes tend to light up just like this, um, almost like you're shining a flashlight at them. You can. That's the one thing I can see more clear than anything is the eyes of every one of these animals. I don't know if it's because of whatever fluids in the eye,
right,
um, but it really lights up, and then with once you see that, it really gives you a good effect on the of what the rest of the body looks like. It's got a like a little red sensor at the bottom, and it I don't know. I don't know what it looks like from the other side of it because it's like a little, almost like a little radiation type thing that's throwing that light out,
right.
and it'll pick up stuff quite a ways out. I mean, you can zoom in on things with it, and I'm starting to get more adapted to my new camera. Um, I've yet to make any good video with it because as you're in pitch black dark and you're trying to adjust and work all these different buttons that are
Right.
on top, for like zooming in and focusing and making it darker, lighter, whatever. But this right here, this looks like he caught this with some kind of night vision camera of some sort. I'd like to talk to the guy and find out what kind of equipment he was using. Last night we were using LED lights to try and we're shining them on the trees around us to try
Right.
and get a star pictures of the star systems that was above us, the Milky Way and whatnot. But that's a very big possibility that they did have uh, some type of lighting when they caught this with I'm not even sure what kind of camera.
Well,
For
on
me,
the on the I just like the podcast I just did on Alien Strand Extras. I talked about I actually showed photos of one called the Zeta 1, right? Because
mhm,
there's an actual Zeta Reticuli. Well, they come from Zeta Reticuli. The one from Zeta 1 almost looks like this being right here because there's one from Zeta 1 and then there's one from Zeta 2, right? The one from Zeta 2 has a little bit more of a rounded jawline, right? It's not as pointy and elongated as this has more of an insectoid kind of weird shaped head, right? So I'm thinking that it's a possibility that that's what that is. It's probably a Zeta from Zeta One. It's whatever it is. It's walking out there definitely.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Again, another thing I'd like to reiterate is with all the different footage that we've been getting about craft that enter the sides of volcanoes and mountains
Right.
and even flat desert or flat grounds. Um, this is what I believe is inside the Earth itself, and they hive. So if these things are coming from Zeta Reticula, which I actually completely agree with that, that they're the way where they're hiding would be inside of our volcanoes and our mountains, and as they enter them, um, using what Dr. Einstein and Dr. Nathaniel Rosen, the Rosen Bridge,
Right.
um, and most likely coming here through uh, possibly a black hole. That overlap. They're starting to find several black holes out there, and um, I would have to say if you hit it at the right speed, going dead center past um, what would be the point of no return or event horizon,
Right.
um, when they hit that, and they'll just bam, they come out the other side of these things, and now they're from Zeta Reticula to here in a matter of seconds. Um, I like to also reiterate that it wasn't until just recently that they said that they observed a supernova for the first time. They said that we we have now seen one take place.
Hmm.
Um, well, that's kind of throws you, because every time you see a shooting star, wouldn't that be a supernova? Well, I don't believe so. I think that we have particles that come off of comets, and we have our meteor showers, and that's how we end up with a meteor shower. Is as the comet goes around the backside of the sun, a bunch of the comet burns off and blasts off. You have that long tail off the comet.
The
As we're
debris.
going around, yeah, as we're going around the sun, we end up going through that tail, and then we have a really neat thing happening in our skyline, and we see all these meteor showers that are taking place.
It's usually called
Well,
what a couple of times a year, maybe like where it's we get those heavy meteor showers.
that's
Maybe.
right. Right now, what is it? It's the Perseus meteor shower is what we were watching last night.
Okay.
Now, the again, back to this is if you see a shooting star, uh, for me, what I'm seeing is a craft that's taking off, and you see that long streak, and that's the craft that's going through a wormhole, and it's either coming or going to here.
Right.
So when you see that, that's what I believe a shooting star is. This is my own personal theory. Okay, there's maybe somebody out there will back it up. Maybe a bunch of people will go out there and discredit it. I don't, but this is just my theory on this. If we'd never seen a supernova, then those are not shooting stars.
Right.
Okay,
Well.
so that's
Well.
that's
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that makes sense. That does make sense as far as that. Let's talk about this next thing. All right. I remember
yeah,
it was up in the Congress probably about a few months ago. They brought it out to the Mexico City
yeah,
Nazca mummies, right? So there was a big thing about the female that it had eggs inside of it, right? Um, and this picture just came out because they just released and I'm gonna do it right here. It's a presentation at Congress in Mexico. All the experts and scientists who have analyzed in the detail of the desiccated bodies of Nazca, highlighting the information of the mummy, which they call Mary, which throws the Guadalupe hybrid bonobo, chimpanzee, and human and other unknown species. In other words, it has a hybrid mix of all these things, right? As far as the actual extraterrestrial, as they're saying, and about the new species of the images there. It says very different lungs, very kind of different kinds of fins or wings, it's saying, or and it also houses eggs inside. In research, despite advances in just it's just the beginning of this, right? So they're trying to get into more detail about the Nazca mummies, because of the eggs that it's inside of this female, right? Uh, Now it's kind of hard to tell because these things have the long fingers, the three long fingers, I believe, and the long toes. Um, but they're not very big at all. I mean, I know after time, so these things are going to be what 1,000 years old, and it's a possibility that the mass of it might have shrank. It might have shrank a little bit throughout this whole years and years. So apparently, these things are 1,000 years old. Now, what brought this to my attention was the eggs inside of the female, right? So on the book that I worked on this past week, um the Pulsar project, it does talk about eggs, like an actual egg of an extraterrestrial, right? So and this guy wrote this book 30 years in from the 1950s, right? This was all his research dealing with extraterrestrials. He dealt with more than I think 60 species or something like that, of different kind of zetas, different kind of this, different kind of that. But this is mainly right here. What you're looking at is what he explained is partially of the gray, that how they kind of make another gray, right? And it's done with fertilization and an actual egg is made, right? Because they have no sexual organs, right? So it's kind of weird how this is done, or how the eggs are inside of this female. I mean, what are your thoughts about this, Terry?
Well, I would have to say that's a feasible theory. From what I'm seeing here, you can clearly see what looks like three eggs.
Yeah, it's
Two or
looks like four, four,
is it
one, two, three,
four?
four.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm not on my computer today. I'm actually doing this over a phone.
that's all
Um,
right.
that's
You're
so
good.
I'm trying to see that. But yeah, you can clearly see where they're located. Um, there we go. Okay, now I see four eggs in there. Yeah.
Right.
Boy, that right there, that could answer a lot of questions. There's at least for their reproductive situation.
Right.
Um,
I mean,
uh,
if you really kind of, if you, it's confusing to think about, right? As us, because we're used to uh, ours. We're not actually hatching an egg for a human being. It's an egg, but it's not like a hard shelled egg, like a
right. It
chicken
starts as an egg. Right.
or a lizard or anything like that, right? So the only things that do this, right, that we know about, what is like what reptiles, right? Pretty much like a reptile family. I know
Right.
eggs are from chicken too, or that kind of species. But
A
as
raptor.
far as yeah, now and as far as human beings, I mean this does not happen to us as far as like a hard shake or actual egg.
Right.
You know what
Well,
I mean?
the praying mantis and things like that, insectoids, all the
Right,
different insects, they also lay eggs. We have an animal that nobody, I mean, even Darwin couldn't really place what it was, the platypus. Um, it's got a duck beak. It's covered in beaver fur. Got a beaver tail. It lays eggs.
wow,
So it's just. I mean, think about that for a second. We have all kinds of different things already on Terra that do that, and we're pretty much us and all the mammals. Usually that's the eggs would be like up down in the uh, like the other end of a fallopian tube, and then it's the fastest little guy gets there, and it makes the egg, and all of a sudden you have the fertilization of an egg,
right.
and then we carry for 9 months, or some people sooner. Um, However, the same thing with dogs, horses, all that. Um, everything does start as an egg.
But
So
and then look at the photo too, Terry. Just look at what's different about it too. The just this strange creature, whatever it is. Um,
right,
look at the back, the back of it. In the back, there's an actual bone that's curving,
Yeah.
that has a curvature coming out, and that's in the back, right? Like there was
Yeah.
something like of a bone or a fin, right? That's what they were talking about, like a fin of some sort or a wing that was on the very back of this thing, right?
Right.
So, in other words, you know how a fish, when it dies, you have the bone that's sticking straight up, right?
Yep.
So, which means it had some kind of a wing on it, right? On the
Hmm.
backside. So, what we're looking at here is possible, maybe, I don't know, man. This thing could have been kind of like a reptilian of some sort.
Yeah.
To,
It's
to
possible
have
reptilian.
Yeah, to have that in the back. And that's what I'm kind of just getting just by looking at the photo and analyzing it just with my eyes, and just what we're seeing here in the photo. I mean, to me, that just makes more sense of what. Well, I mean, we're thinking at the very beginning when I first saw pictures of this, I just thought that it was just a walking, extra small extraterrestrial gray walking around. Now that I see this picture,
Hmm.
I see something different now. To me, it's
Well,
going to have a
yeah.
different kind of body shape structure.
Well, think about what we've actually been talking about what's been going on in Peru up that river in that village where these the military trying to save people on jetpacks. I highly doubt that.
Right,
Um, but this right here would kind of fit that description as well of something that could fly, hover. I think that these things back in that time and up to now have the capability to put out almost like a plasma type thing and levitate,
right,
and fly. And a fin like that could also be for making it to where they're going certain directions straight. That could be a good reason why that thing didn't want us to touch it with a laser,
right.
because it could have been a living thing versus like everybody wants to say airplane and knock on the aluminum or steel or whatever it's made of. Um, these a lot of these and a lot of people see these as a living beings. The Navajo call them spirit lights down in Arizona, and the reptilian, the Hopi Indians called them brothers, and they lived inside the earth. They live inside the earth.
and
As
and
far
it's
as
not
the
and it's not just this just one of these. There's like 6 or 8 of them that they have. So it's
Yeah,
not
they
just
have
one.
quite a few.
You gotta have a quite, and then not just this size. They have an actual size that's almost human sized. That has the long fingers, 3 long toes, of a taller one, right? So, and we always talk about that with the grays. There's going to be a tall one. They got small ones. They got the big grays that are with the long arms that are 6 footers. What's to say that this extraterrestrial race, if it is extraterrestrial, that it has the same kind of dynamics as the grays? You know what I mean? Like, it might be related to the grays in a sense, but
Right.
a kind of reptilian kind of species, right? That's kind of has humanistic features as well.
Alistair Crawley, he was another one of those people that he had contact with. What almost looked like a Zeta Gray.
Right.
Um,
I mean,
there's he's got whatever. I haven't made it all the way through the book yet, so I'll make it to that point. But I do have one of his books, and I'm trying to find out a little more about the contact he had with this. Everyone wants to call what it was a demon. A lot of people look at what we're talking about and call those demons.
right.
Anytime they see something that's not explainable to them, they immediately either they want to call it good or they want to call it evil.
Right.
So until we have a better contact with what's actually there, and we know it's there. There's a lot of us that don't require any more convincing,
Right.
because we see what we've seen. In the next CE3, you'll you'll hear a lot more about my story on that,
Right.
and you'll find out that these things, they exist, and to some people, it's very very much real. Um, again, there's people like me. It doesn't require any more convincing.
Right.
There's a lot of us out here because we have had that face to face.
Uh,
We've had that contact.
Exactly. There's a Facebook user out there that says, "Are those small?" Now, if you remember when they presented these to the Mexican government, they were in a small little box. So these things are about maybe a foot to 2 feet in diameter. So, as far as the length of these things, now there's bigger ones, but they didn't bring those out to Congress. They only brought these smaller ones, I guess, because it was probably easier to transport, and they weren't maybe. I mean, maybe it's they're not afraid of them being damaged more. Maybe it had maybe a solid structure to it. After it just kind of meshed all together after all these years. Where they know it's not going to break, and it's easy. It's better to go with something smaller, right? Because it's not going to break like something huge because of the weight of it, the mishandling of things, right? So it's a possibility that these things were well, they are little. We've seen photos of these things. Now, we haven't actually brought out any extraterrestrial craft in a while. So there's a video that I've been holding on to for a little while, and I've been wanting to talk about it with you, Terry, of this extraterrestrial craft that somebody caught. It's really fast. The video is really fast. It takes maybe about 20 seconds long. So let's check this out. All right, here we go. Did you get to see that? I can show it again. Ooh, I lost your mic. Yeah, I think your mic's muted there, Terry.
On mine.
Oh, there you go. I can hear you now.
We're back. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice disc. It
Did you
was a nice disc, and it looked like.
did you
Was that what was underneath it?
Yeah, did you see the little balls spinning down in there? What we always talk about, those little balls that are, and
Yeah.
then it releases one down when it's going by.
Right. Wow. That is really neat. I didn't quite get a good view of it on my
Let,
end.
let me go. I'm going to show it again, okay? So you can check it out again.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah, it seems like that every time you see a disc like that, they're carrying some type of drone of their own,
It looks like a
or
shot
maybe
down.
it's a manned craft or something like that. But those spheres seem to accompany them every one of those big discs like that.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, it shot one. I thought it was just one, but I saw the video just now. It looked like it shot down one, and then it shot down another one, right behind that one. So whatever it was that it was throwing to the ground, I mean, it's maybe a little drone, maybe a little alien that was walking around the ground, but who's to
That's
know,
right.
man? The dogs, and now get this. We talked about it on our first film. How the dogs always go nuts because of the frequencies
Yeah,
of these things that they're carrying that low D sharp the hum
yeah.
that we can't hear,
D1 sharp.
but it just drives
Yeah,
these animals crazy and drives them nuts because of the hum that
yeah,
it bothers them. It's just a different frequency, I believe.
yeah. It is that D1 sharp. As far as I'm concerned, it's they were telling us in a lot of the different rock wall paintings and things like that. When you see the
Right.
spiral,
Right.
that when you put a tone to that, and you put that tone over water, cry cryomenic, I think is what it's called. Uh, they put it over water, and you get that exact tone on top of it, and it makes that exact picture that you're seeing. And that
Right.
again was, you can go to my D1 sharp hypothesis. I've got it on. It's even in a few science groups. Um,
Right.
I'll bet you'll never guess what I'm about to talk about.
Oh, yes, we do.
You do? Okay. Hey, Nikon, guess what?
Right on.
I am Nikon. Now, Nikon, I've talked about you all the time, and I want to let you know I've been going out and paying for all my own Nikons, but we have a group of ufologists around the world that would like to showcase this type of equipment around the world. We would love to have you guys sponsor. We'd like to have you guys sponsor us and start putting Nikon into ufologists' hands so we have equipment so we can get out, we can get the things that we need to show the public, and we can showcase your Nikon company. All
Right.
right. I love my Nikons. I love every one of them. I've got this is a P1000. Um, this is a P500. This is a D3200. Um,
Right.
we're Nikon, man. We know how to use what we got. I'm still learning this larger Nikon because it's new to me, but I would really like to have you guys kind of try and jump aboard with Alien Strand Disclosure Project, ASDP, and you can showcase your equipment around the world by doing this. And once they start seeing what kind of footage we're getting with your equipment, people will buy it like it's just you won't be able to keep it on the shelves, man.
Exactly. Just like hotcakes.
Nikon, I am Nikon.
Right on. All right. Well, before we got maybe two more videos to show real quick before we close out, Terry. So this is going to be one that it's been out there. I think I saw it like maybe a year and a half ago, but I just saw it come back on my feed, and somebody got a really nice closer shot of this, the actual video. So I said, you know what, it's quite a great time to put it on, but right now. So here we go. It's going to be some kind of crap. It's in India. This happened in India, and it's right over a building. You're gonna really freak out on this one. Check it out.
On October 22nd, 2020.
Or what? You can almost see it glistening, so you know it's spinning because it almost looks like it's flashing a light, right? But then
Right.
I mean, you know it's spinning. You can tell it's spinning. It's just sitting there hovering.
Mhm.
That's man, that is a great video.
That had to have been intimidating to the person doing that video.
Oh yeah, yeah. That
Yeah.
that was kind of scary, man. But I mean, when you catch something like that up, I mean, and then you see it stops, it's hovering, and then before it takes off, what does it do? It rises, and then it just shoots off, right? Uh,
Gone. Yes.
it was
Gets a
gone,
clear path and goes.
and it
I
does look like what you talk about with the what is that with the magnet the
Oh,
lock.
the magnetic flux tubes. Yeah.
Yeah, the quantum lock, you know how it locks
Hmm.
with a magnet and kind of with that what is it, nitrogen that they use or something like that?
Yeah. It's liquid nitrogen. What they're doing is it's called quantum levitation. They take it's a superconductive, and they put the magnet under the bottom of it, which the Earth, by the way, is a giant magnetite mostly.
Right,
And what happens is if you take that and you bump the superconductive, it'll follow the track around, and you can actually pose it in different positions
right,
when you're doing this quantum levitation. I believe that what's going on with these things is they're moving up and down on magnetic flux tubes, and they
right,
get to the safe point, and what they're doing is out of quantum lock, what they do is they have a way to release. And when they take off like that, no matter what, the further north you go, the slower it might be, but the closer you are to equator,
Right.
if they do this, they're moving at over 1,000 miles an hour. Once they release that, and the Earth is actually turning underneath them, and they're staying still.
Right.
So that's
Right.
that's what I believe is taking place with a lot of this. I've got a lot of people saying that the craft are moving either they're going east with the Earth turning west,
Right.
um, and there's a lot of people saying that they're going either north or south doing this as well.
Right.
So any direction, if they push with the I call it uh, the the speed of magnetic repulsion. Okay, not propulsion, but repulsion. You take two magnets, you put them against each other where they're opposing forces, and
Right.
you hold them together and you let it go. It flips
Hmm.
instantly.
Instantly.
So that's part of their propulsion system is they're using repulsion to push. And most of the time when they're going in a direction, they tilt the direction they're going to go, and they're
Hmm.
pushing towards that way. So
Wow.
this is all wonderful things that I got to learn. And the process of trying to make things more understandable.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
a lot of
Exactly.
quantum physics. I spend hours and hours listening to like Dr. Leonardo Stein, Dr. Brown. His name's Les Brown. He teaches you about the power of crystals and the physics of crystals. Um, turns out it's you can actually light a light with one of those little crystals. You wrap it two different directions all the way to each end with
Hmm.
copper. You put a board, like boards on each side, put a little C clamp on there and tighten it, and you can
Right.
actually hook it up, and it's just like a battery. So you can actually run things off of crystals.
Wow.
You can run things off of the Earth itself. The Earth is a big battery. Um,
Well,
that's
I
these
mean,
are things that
a lot of people use them for healing and stuff like that. So they get the crystals.
absolutely
They use it for their like to give them some kind of spiritual healing, or they just use it for their aura to give them better frequencies to contact for paranormal contact for ufology. They
hmm
use it and everything, just like with the crystal skulls, right? That we talked
right.
about. Or what's her name?
Carolyn Ford. Carolyn Ford
Carolyn
has Einstein.
Right.
You can actually see a whole episode of Ancient Aliens that Carolyn Ford the whole Ancient Aliens was dedicated to her and
Right.
Einstein, which came out of a Mayan pyramid.
Right.
And she's got one of the original, the real ones. The nice thing about some of the people that we meet in the process of all of this is you get to find people who are tied into the earth and they're tied into this type of setting. At first, I thought stuff like that was just where they're new
Right.
age guys. But it turns out this is ancient tools. It's also ancient medicine.
Right.
They the laser, for instance, that we were using, the blue, that's a sapphire crystal. That's
Right.
the green ones are emerald, and the red
Mm.
lasers, well, that's a ruby. So
Right.
this is what you're using. It's just the smallest little piece of it to
Right.
make this occurrence take place.
Yeah.
If you put a laser through a crystal, you right the second you do that, you've amplified the power of that laser 5,000 times. I'm not kidding. You can go to Dr. Les Brown, the physics of crystals in a ludicrous world is the name
Right.
of his 2.5 hour lecture, and he'll tell you exactly what I just said.
Wow. So we have that was great. That's a great analogy. Thank you for that. So we have one more video. Now this video, this person sent this to me. I talked to so many people because and they're in different countries or different parts of the world. So when they're sending me texts, I'm sleeping. I'm still skipping with Daisy, the Tin Man and the Scarecrow. I'm still asleep when they're sending me all these messages. So there's a lot of them that pass me by that I don't get to see sometimes because I get so as soon as I wake up, boom, boom, I gotta go. They did send me this video. I believe it's in another country. I think her name is or his name is Dyla, something like that. But and it's just a really quick video, and this is what they've been catching. Now they had already sent me a video of their home that they're, you know how sometimes the people in our group in our Alien Strand Disclosure Project, they'll send just a video of inside of their home, like they see just little different things materializing in the air, right? So he had already sent me some video of that. I just hadn't had a chance to analyze it yet, and then he sent me this video, right? So it's real quick. Let me go ahead and show it before we close out. Here we go. So fast when it's just these three lights that pop up in front of his car. But that's how fast. It's like his phone died, right? Looks like your mic cut off there, Terry.
Oh, I can hear you. Yours actually cut off to me
Okay,
a moment
so
ago.
it's probably my system here because of the rain out here. But it's fast, but you can see the two lights. They're bright. Was that the color that you were kind of seeing at first? That when you talk about the bright yellowish, whitish kind of looking
Yeah, it's
luminance,
it's kind of a bright, almost like fire in the sky kind of bright. And
right?
then they can change to almost a plasma looking flash white, you know.
Right.
So this is also something that I think that a lot of our people on the paranormal side see, and again, like the Native Americans would call them spirit lights.
Right. Well, and like I said, this is what this person's been catching for a while, and I have a lot of folks that will send me stuff, and they just don't want to be out there in public eye. You know, they're just kind of, hey man, this is what I caught. Just check this out. What do you think? Send it to your friends or send it to the people. So actually, I'm going to send this to either Chris or Anibal. Maybe they can get something out of it. It's just so
Yeah.
fast that I have a feeling that the phone died. I
Hmm.
talked about this on past podcasts how a lot of people when they get super close to a craft or an orb or whatever, a lot of things happen to the technology, right? The phones die or automatically battery gets drained, things like that. So hey, that's
Hmm.
possibly that what could have happened. But hey, Terry, thank you for being on the show today. I really appreciate your insights and everything that we talked about today on UFO Weekly number 8.
Right.
So when do you think your next adventure will be coming out again?
Our next really big one, we were planning on going out and to the Crook County area to go and investigate where the cattle mutilations had taken place. We I still have to make arrangements with Sheriff's Deputy Chris Beard. He's going to go out there. I'm going to interview him. I'm going to interview him out on the site and
Right.
location. We'll get our interview lined up on that. I still need to get the all of the information from the investigations that he's done.
Hmm.
We're going to take a look at all of that. Plus, I'm going to try and get it to where we can get a digital version of it and get that sent out to you, so you'll be able to analyze and look, read, and see everything. Get yourself up to date with everything that we're going to be doing. Um, so we're going to try one. We're going to try and have a hard copy, and then the other is going to be a digital copy
Right. Right.
of all the pictures, what the witnesses had to say. I'm going to try and line up interviews with some of the witnesses or the ranchers that lost the cattle. It's kind of a big deal. The cattle that cost them a fortune, that's their livelihood. Anytime you lose one, you lose thousands of dollars.
Wow.
So they want some answers.
Yeah.
If you had a car lot and once a week somebody took a car, you're going to want to find out who's taking the car.
Exactly.
So this is
Exactly.
exactly his livelihood that's going on out there.
Oh,
I think I've actually got some good answers for them.
oh, good.
Um, there was, what is it? There's one more thing I wanted to make sure. Um, Disclosure starts with your story and respect. And ASDP ufologists are here to respect your story. If you've got something you want to talk about and you want to tell somebody, we have ufologists around the world. We have ufologists in your area, probably in your area. If you need to have somebody to talk to that actually understands what you saw and you need to get it off your chest, you're trying to tell your family, your friends, and they're all kind of looking at you funny because they don't quite believe what you're saying. There are people out there that have the experience, that do know exactly what happened or how it happens, not exactly what happened with you yet till you tell your story. So again, disclosure starts with your story and respect. I'm looking forward to hearing your story. Mr. Ledesma is also looking for your story. He's the director of ASDP. I'm the director of research with ASDP. And you will have your story, and you'll start getting more answers once you open up to us.
Right on. Yeah.
No story left behind, man.
That's right. I'm just going to talk. Just bring this up real quick. We had a couple of people. We had Ryan Keaton out there watching. We had Sue Harrison out there. Thank you for watching. And Facebook user, your name didn't pop up, but it's okay. But Ryan was just saying those lights have been popping up all over the world, it seems. And then Sue was saying, I have a video like that one, but it's like what Ryan said, they're popping up all over the world. And Sue Harrison says she is in Ohio. All right. Well, thank you, Sue. Appreciate you. We know you love to watch the show. And if you do like the show, please share it. All right. All right, my brother Terry. So we'll talk to you here shortly. Get yourself some rest. You look kind of tired today. So I know it's been a long night for you guys. So I'm sure you'll be sleeping like a bear tonight, right?
You betcha. You betcha. I'm operating on 4 hours of sleep and it was all broke up.
Oh, wow. All right, brother. Well, good. We'll talk to you here shortly. All righty.
All right. I'll wait in the background for you.
Okay. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this show today. It took a little bit before we got to what we wanted to talk about, but it's okay. We got to get the adventures out there of, with the Oregon ufology and research out there, because they're doing a great job out there. Because without them, we couldn't get a lot of this footage that actually is coming out, that will be coming out here next year. All right. So they're out there in the cold and 28-degree weather. They're out there full of ice right now. You got to remember, Oregon, it is cold, man. It can get brutally cold up there. Temperatures can drop. Even the dry temperature can drop below zero quickly up there on top of those mountains. But thank you, Terry, and thank you for everybody out there that is working their butt off for it and for this next film. And of course, we know you're gonna love the disclosure that we have to offer and what Terry and his team is offering out there, because they're the ones that have the feet on the ground. I won't get out there until next year, unfortunately, but I'll try to get out there sooner than that so I can go out there and help them out as well, because I'd really love to have my boots on the ground with them. I want to freeze my butt off too, just like them, and just be there with them at the same time, and I think we'll have a chance to get out there. But hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Please share. Remember, this is going to be on audio as well. We're going to put links to the description of everything. Like I said, we do have a new trailer for the middle part 2 CE3. We just put it out there. So it's on Alien Strand on YouTube. Check that out. And it's on my personal page, and it's on Alien Strand. They're on Facebook, ASDP Disclosure Project. It's out there too. It's out on ufology, Oregon Ufology and Research. It's out there too. So we threw that trailer everywhere as soon as it came out. Thank you to Mr. Terry Linch and everybody out there that helped and shared that trailer. Because this next film is going to be excellent. I hope you guys really enjoy it, and I'll let you guys know when it is out on Amazon Prime. All right. But until then, you guys have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good evening, and have yourselves a good night. We'll see you on the next one.
This is ASDP ufologist Terry Linch from Oregon. You're watching the Mothership Alien Strand podcast with your host, Donald Ledesma.